RBC TV, thank you so much for making us part of your evening. Today is the 22nd of November 2019. My name is Michael Jordan Lukuma, welcoming you back from work and wherever you have been this Friday. It's a weekend. Thank you for whatever you have done in the week. More so if you have helped somebody. If you have only done what is for your own good, thank you. But I would have thanked you more if you have given a hand to somebody that needed it. Yes. We normally discuss issues here, but that target only our change in our lives. That's why the show is called Pick a Point. Pick something, take it for the good of your own family, community, country in general, and the world where we live. Yes. Very many years ago, about 30 or 40 actually, there is a scourge that attacked this world and Uganda in particular. It killed so many people, and as we speak we have lost millions and millions of people because of that very disease. On the 1st of December we normally commemorate its day, a day to reflect on it, and we're moving towards that day. So we're going to do a number of programs in that perspective to get to understand more about this scourge, because there are gaps to do with information, especially with the very, very scourge. Who has to play what role, and what is that very role that each one of us has to play? So just join me, welcome my guest tonight, Miss Agnes Namaganda. She works with the School of Public Health, Makerere University, and she's also a youth leader. She's also an aspiring leader. I've heard she will confirm or prove me wrong. Agnes, you're welcome.
Thank you so much, Jordan. I'm glad to be here. Good evening to you.
Okay. You have heard of HIV and AIDS.
Yes.
You work with the School of Public Health.
Yes.
What do you know about this scourge?
This scourge has been around for a long time, and many Ugandans were affected. I was also affected by HIV AIDS as I was growing up, because I grew up as an orphan of HIV and AIDS. So I came to learn a lot about the scourge, and I also came to know generally about HIV. So there is a lot, and coincidentally I'm now working with the School of Public Health, but I'm also pursuing a master's in public health.
Okay.
Yes.
We have the right person. So what would you tell us about the prevalence rates currently?
Currently, according to the information that is available, we are at 5.7% prevalence. That means that we have the current number of Ugandans that have HIV stand at 5.7%. And we have about 53,000 infections every new year. We also have about 23,000 AIDS-related deaths.
Okay.
Yes.
What do you think explains all that?
The current numbers that we have. I think the rates have gone down from the time that the scourge came in Uganda. The rates have been going down gradually, although we've seen, I think, some slight increase in the recent years. But studies, if you look at, say, for example, the youth, infection rates have been slightly higher among the youth groups, among the married females. What explains that mostly is the presence of treatment, because right now there is treatment, and the youths have not experienced the scourge the way the rest of us who grew up in the times when people were dying without treatment experienced it. So because we grew up with a lot of fear for HIV, we saw people dying, we saw people, we lost parents. So you know, you would grow up with that, you would grow up with that fear for HIV. But currently we do not have as many people who are dying from the scourge.
Even those that die, their death is not that scary.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Like it was.
It is not so scary, it is not so massive, because in the beginning rates were as high as 15% in 1992. The rates the rates of infection, the prevalence rate was at 15% in the earlier years, in 1992, and it has gone down right now, and many people are not dying, like you've said, scary deaths. We don't hear people losing their parents to HIV. Maybe we have more injuries, more accidents, but we don't have as many people dying from HIV as those days. So people are no longer especially the youth, they are not as scared of HIV as we were when we were growing up, because we'd seen all these deaths. Yes.
So that is to do with their perception. So how do you think they look at this disease? Do they fear it or something?
Of course they don't, and it has been going on. It has been going on for a long time. That if you look at female youths, they perceive themselves they fear pregnancy much more than they fear contracting HIV.
I thought that was just a slogan or something people just say. How true is it practically?
Practically,
Because you are a lady and you talk to younger ladies.
I mix to younger ladies.
Yes.
I talk to youth around
Is that
Kampala.
true that they fear pregnancy more than HIV and AIDS?
It is very true. It is very true that the youths fear pregnancy much, because pregnancy presents immediate effects. They are going to see the effects of pregnancy in a few short months, or even next month. They are going to know that I'm pregnant, and possibly I'm experiencing the effects of pregnancy much more than HIV, which takes possibly a long time to show its effects. And secondly, they haven't, because they haven't seen the adverse effects. It is long since I last saw a person who has full-blown symptoms of HIV. Those full-blown symptoms that we know, those symptoms that would stigmatize other people. It's a long time since people presented with such symptoms. You can't find them on the streets yet. Those days, just looking at a person, you would almost tell that this is HIV.
Okay. And today we have people that have other diseases that actually would bring that some symptoms you would confuse or mistake for HIV AIDS. Somebody will have cancer and will actually be tortured by the disease and looks like.
Yes, and still those are not so many. Like you don't find. We have we have a number of people losing their loved ones to cancer, but you will not find that the numbers are not as many as they were, for example, in 1992, the deaths to HIV, or the people who are presenting with the HIV. So still, much as someone with cancer will present with, but people know that this is cancer, so they do not associate, because remember that HIV is contracted in a different sense from cancer. So they will not associate their behavior to as in their sexual behavior, especially to the way.
Now, how would you rate Uganda's effort to fight the HIV/AIDS scourge? Where we're going, I think we need to now at least look at the positive, have something to celebrate.
Yes.
How would you rate our effort to fight HIV and AIDS in Uganda?
Thank you, Jordan. And if you look at the rates, at the prevalence rates right now compared to 1992, really we've done a lot, and we are celebrated world over, globally, and we are one of the success stories, global success stories for the fight against HIV. Except that currently we seem to have stagnated at a particular rate. We don't seem to be pushing the rates lower the way we are expected to. But I can say that over the years, Uganda has really come up to fight against HIV. The rates were at 15% in 1992. Right now, they're about 5.7 adult HIV prevalence rates. So Uganda has done a lot.
What do you think are those things we are doing as a country that we should just boost? Those kind of areas where you think we are doing very great and that you can attribute to the drops in the figures.
I think, Jordan, if you've been following this HIV discussion, you know that behavior change was emphasized, and it was easier for people to change behavior because they were looking at the products of HIV sufferers. They were looking at what HIV could do, how it would devastate. They were living with orphans. They were living with all these people that were victims of HIV. So it was easier for them to change behavior because they were looking at...
Everyone could take a lesson.
Everyone could take a lesson. So right now, what we have is that because we don't have much of that, and because even the campaigns that are focusing on behavior change, they're not having a great impact. I believe we need to find new ways of getting people to contribute towards the fight against HIV. Yes, we need to continue having that discussion on how to reduce the rates currently on
below
HIV.
5.7.
Below 5.7, yes, because we seem to have stagnated around there, 5.7, 6, we are there. Yeah, although still in the recent past there has been a slight increase in the infections, especially among, like I've said, married females, and also among the youths.
Why married females? What makes the rates among them high?
This is my thinking, because the rates they've been shown to be high, and it stems from multiple partners, because we have men having multiple partners and then passing the virus around. It's the reason why there is emphasis actually on circumcision. Yes, because once the men reduce their ability to contract the HIV through circumcision, it will also go ahead to reduce HIV infection or passing on the HIV virus to.
So it is men
women
that have multiple partners.
It is the men that have multiple sexual partners, because
women don't.
Yes, so that means that one man is able to infect a number of women. One man is able to infect a number of women. So we have a higher number of females having HIV.
So married men are sleeping with a number of married women.
No, marriage in Uganda is not defined as one-on-one. You know that, Jordan.
Okay.
Marriage in Uganda is, we have polygamous relationships, and that's how we live. Men, we have one man. It's common to find one man having multiple sexual partners. Even the women do it, but the rate at which the men do it is not.
It's higher than the other side of
Yeah,
it.
it's higher than that of the women.
Okay. Who do you think is playing their role best in as far as ensuring our rates go down to the level that we have come to 5.7, though you say we have stagnated there, but at least it's not as high as the figures previously. So who do you think has played their role best?
I would say that in the society, everybody has tried. The parents have tried, the parents are playing their role, the government has played its role, the teachers are really playing their role. I think even the media does a lot to play their role. Political leaders also weigh in, because outside there, when I'm talking to the youth, I'm always emphasizing safety and protection from HIV. How do you protect yourself, etc. But I would say that we need to really get out to get the ideas from the youths about how we can help them, especially because if the rates are high among the youths, and also we need also to focus on the women. How do we help them, for example, in their situation, in their situation where they are multiple, where they are many and they have probably one husband, how they can be helped to reduce on the infection.
Is that possible?
It is possible. It is possible.
Give us a possible a kind of illustration.
For example, we've had women, married women, supporting this campaign by encouraging their men to get circumcised. I think that's a good move. As in, you target the women, and the women encourage their men to get circumcised. Yes, the married women.
That alone is enough.
Yes. Then also having peer leaders who are role models, who have decided among the youths. That's what I mean. Among the youths, having those youths that are going to act as role models to the rest, and are going to and can influence their peers to stay safe. That is also what can be done in the fight against HIV.
Okay. Before I go back to what I wanted to say, we will add it with this one. We are generally a young country.
Yes.
We have the biggest chunk of our population very young, below 30.
Yes.
With the situation of HIV, how do you look at Uganda? With the prevalence of HIV, those figures you have told us and whatever. And the young people whose perception you know very well about the same problem. How do you look at Uganda with the disease?
I've not really understood your question, because you're saying that if we have young people,
yes,
because we are our population is mostly a young population. In what context do you want?
Okay, we have a young generation,
That
young
is
population.
true. That is true.
And here is HIV and AIDS.
Yes.
You get? I want you to give me a general way how you look at Uganda with the young population, and here is HIV and AIDS. Yes, the figures are down, but these are young people who look at the disease the way you say that actually the girls fear more pregnancy than even HIV and AIDS. What kind of future do they have What kind of life do you expect them to have? How easy are we going to manage to keep these figures go down with a big number of young people who actually look at things the wrong way?
First of all, like the figures show, there is a lot of there is a higher infection rate among the youths, and that can also be reflected in the teenage pregnancies, because by the time you have a higher rates of teenage pregnancies, it means that people are not using protection in their sexual associations,
Yes.
because because it means that there are even more youths that are sleeping together possibly and are not just getting pregnant. But the higher teenage pregnancies that Uganda has are just an indicator that the youths are not using protection in them.
Those sexually very active.
They are very sexually active, but they are not using protection. So what I would like to, in that sense, if you look at our population, we could we need the youths themselves to suggest the best possible, like I've said, we need peer leaders to suggest, and most of these are, like I've said, it's modeling. The other youths have to reach out there today, because the parents are doing their job, the politicians are doing their job, the teachers are doing their best, the religious leaders are doing their job. But what we need right now is for us to have role models among the youths, those who have gone through that stage and have succeeded. For example, you come from a school and you go ahead, for example, to obtain a university degree, to
rewrite channels.
Yeah, through the right channels, and you get where you are. For example, Jordan, what you do is that you need to go back down and you help the people that you left behind, because usually the age group is not so different. Yes, you can act as a model. You go back and you get them up, encourage them to stay safe, encourage them to change behavior, encourage them to use condoms in case they are having sexual relationships, encourage them to stay safe, and then to also talk about the effects of HIV, although they are not seen, because right now we don't have so many people, like I've said, who are suffering from who have full-blown symptoms of HIV. We could still use ourselves as role models for the youth.
Okay, but you're talking about peer leaders in a group that has a perception you talked about previously.
Yes.
How will you find them? How easy is it? Because you see,
you can't fail to find that one or two people that will listen to a message. Generally, if you look at the numbers of pregnancy,
finding these peer leaders, these peer examples.
That's what I'm saying. You can't, in a population of 1,000 youths, you can't fail to find 2 youths or 1 youth that will really take this message and go through the stages without and staying safe. Yes, you can't fail to find that one person. So much as we are saying that the infection rates are high among the youths, that doesn't mean that all youths are, they are living carelessly. There are some that are actually having safe,
living straight, and they're okay.
Not really straight, but they try to stay safe in case they are. And we're also seeing those kinds of billboards coming up. I believe it's a way to target the youth, saying that a youth saying that this is how they are taking care of their lives. We have a lot of those.
Okay.
Yes, a youth telling fellow youth that this is how I'm taking, instead of a religious leader or political leader talking to the youth and telling them what to do and what will happen.
Some people may not go to church, others may not go to the mosque.
Yes.
So at least if information, so you're talking about, in that way, you're talking about ensuring the information reaches these people effectively.
Yes.
There is also that gap. Do you think it is effective? And if there are gaps, where do you think there is need
Which
to
gap?
touch
Which gap
of
again?
information reaching the young people effectively?
Exactly, because once you have peer leaders, they know where these youths, they know exactly how to appeal to them. They know what appeals to them. For example, you know that music appeals to the youth, and they will be more convinced if one of their own talk to them about something. So when you're using peer leaders, they know where to find their friends. These people may not come to church, they may not come to political gatherings, but of course they have to go to school and they have to mix with their fellow peers. For example, they have to go to maybe an outing at the beach or somewhere. They really get to mix in those kinds of
sports tournaments
in environments where they all get to it. So once you have those leaders, and especially if these youth leaders are also leaders in their communities a bit, they will definitely influence their peers.
Okay. As universities, how are you helping us?
For example, Makerere University. I'm not here to speak on behalf of Makerere University.
I want you to give me a
work,
general overview,
but
because
I can say,
being where you are, at least you can still get information from what others are doing in the same field. Generally, how are you helping us?
Makerere University is doing a lot of research. Actually, most of the research that we have right now on HIV comes from Makerere University.
Fine, but that is like...
Because you need research in order for you to...
academic. Fine.
No, it's just academic. Remember, to make policy, you need research.
Thank you.
So all these things that are, all these interventions that are being carried out in HIV actually stem from research. So without our research, you wouldn't be knowing what does everything.
Thank you. But in your universities, you have people that do technology research about HIV with their metal, with their wires and whatever may not apply easily. There are people that are teachers of mathematics and things like that. There are people doing statistics. So I am looking at a situation of a role that you would have played in our social connections, especially with the people that you're handling, students, most of whom are 25 and below. How are you helping us as universities, and what do you think are those things you can put up as universities to give a hand in the fight of this? You've talked of peer leaders. Are there elements when you come up with leadership of students and things like that, the way with the world growing, what initiatives do you have as universities?
For example,
or would you suggest personally as Agnes?
For example, at Makerere University School of Public Health, we have one of our student groups. It's called Shiva, Students Against HIV/AIDS. We support them. These are students. They've come up with a campaign, and this campaign has spread out to all other universities, encouraging because they are acting as peer leaders, and they are teaching their fellow youth about HIV/AIDS and how to stay safe. And the campaign is protracted. It's in all universities, and as Makerere University, we support this campaign. The students have activities, and we usually come in to support, maybe financially, things like those. So we believe that through that, because like I've said, political leaders talk, teachers talk, parents talk, everybody, neighbors talk. Neighbors will find you and advise you about HIV/AIDS if you're a young person. But we believe that, and we believe that
the ball remains in your individual
with the peer leaders, they are the only way. They are the most certain way, especially among the youth, because I believe all the other spheres of people are doing their work.
Okay, peer leaders, but do we have them? Like, do you have examples you can give us? Or the best people we would use would be you people in positions of leadership? That's
what I'm saying. We talk, but then do the youths listen? It requires someone who is right from them to be able to propagate this message effectively.
Why do you think if somebody cannot listen to their lecturer very well, not their mother, father, grandfather, singer, or whoever, well?
I've given you, Jordan, the reasons.
Exactly.
I've told you.
Me, a friend, an age mate.
Yes.
Why do you think I will be that effective?
I've not said any age mate. I've said an age mate that has actually gone through where they've gone through, and has not exactly their age mate, but someone who has gone through those stages. Someone who is able to articulate the message against HIV. Someone who is able to bring them cases they can listen to. Because when we talk about HIV, if we are the age gaps are bigger. It means that when we talk about the people who died, we don't even have an example in any community where you can say so and so possibly they are, the reason why they are like that, it's HIV, so you need to protect yourself, you need to stay safe. We don't have many of those examples, but these other youths can be able to talk to them. They can act as examples to their peers.
Okay. Okay, you had something to wind up with?
No.
In the School of Public Health, you still still have a lot to do with advocating for the women. If they have a prevalence rate, especially the married ones, how are you helping?
Jordan, like I've said, when we do research, and we give it to people like you, to the media. It's the reason why we do disseminations. We give it to people like media to amplify the message. Then we also give it to policymakers so that policies can be made in line with the findings that we have. We also engage. There are people that come in order to have interventions that are based on that research to be able to reach out to those. We have NGOs that do that.
Okay.
Our job is to do the research, give it to the NGOs, and then they take
whichever channel that can take the message.
Yeah, they come up with interventions on how to address that. Yes.
Okay. What does the figure, okay, you said it is stagnating at a certain level?
Yes.
Not going down, not going up. Can we know what really that means? Do you think it is a problem in a way, or does it have advantages?
Actually, according to findings, we expect that new HIV infections are expected to rise in coming years.
Why?
They're expected to rise. Because of that, there is no fear, especially among the youth. Because now the people that we have right now, the youth that are sexually active, they are not, even from the figures of teenage pregnancies, they don't seem to be conscious. They are not conscious about staying safe. We don't have so many deaths. Even the people that have HIV are on treatment and they are able to protect themselves. So infections are likely to go up because that the perceptions towards HIV are not as negative as they were in previous years. Yes.
Okay, you're going to say you've said it, but I'll ask you again.
You've asked me the same question like 10 times.
Yes, because I want it to come out I want it to come out very well. So there is an information gap. That's what I would believe personally, because when you will talk of fear in the past years, in the 90s, like you said, that people would see a victim of HIV/AIDS with all those big signs that are weird and scary. Currently, they are not there, and that's why people think actually it's something they can sweep under the carpet. But again, why do you think people have lost the fear for this deadly scourge?
Jordan, I'm saying this the 5th time.
Yes, you say.
I've already said that.
In fact,
because they're
if
not,
somebody can understand it the 10th time, they have the opportunity now.
People are not seeing the adverse effects of HIV. They are not seeing, when you put a consequence near if you do this, this is the consequence. It's easier for someone to pick the message. If I don't do it, I will not reach that consequence, especially if the consequence is terrible. So right now we don't have any reference points for if you do this, if you're into promiscuous sexual behavior, this will happen. We don't have. We just talk about it. They've never witnessed it. They've never seen it. It's like talking about God when someone has never experienced God. It's quite difficult, because you talk about this person, they can't see the person, but you're saying this God exists and he can help you. That is how we've ended up having atheists. They can't see God, so they don't see why we keep on telling. They've never experienced God. Okay, maybe they've experienced, but they don't know that they
practically don't see it.
They don't
cannot
see
practically take it serious.
They cannot take it serious. They say, where is he? How come he doesn't exist? Why? Because they don't have something tangible to refer to as God. They can refer to Jordan because Jordan, I see Jordan. They can refer to the people they see, but because they are not seeing the effects of HIV, the way we are seeing the effects of HIV that led to the drop in the prevalence rates, then it's the reason why the rates actually are more likely to go up in the near future.
How can we mitigate that then?
We are doing our best, we believe, and we think that we just need to escalate the message, and we get more peer leaders like you, Jordan, to be able to talk to your fellow youths about HIV.
Okay. Thank you so much, Agnes. We are taking a very short break, with myself taking an opportunity to be a peer leader, and I'm going to do that with all the programs that I have from today up to the 1st of December. We are going to discuss issues to do with HIV and AIDS. That's how great and how grave, actually, that's how grave the problem is in our country, Uganda. Yes, the figures have gone down, like Aggie is saying, but the problem is still very big. HIV is real, and you can die seriously. Let's take a very short break. Please keep it with us. On return, we want to see, yes, she's emphasizing peer leaders, but what role do you have, you personally, as the young person or married woman there, to see that you keep safe? Keep it with us.
Tours and Travel presents Namadu Festival, the first and ever Bagwere Cultural Festival. Have you heard of the tally of the 7 drums? Come witness the passion for culture and the uniqueness of the Bagwere on the 8th of December 2019 here in Kampala at Katikati Grounds. Come feast on Magiru and Owita as we dance away to the Kogo and Namadu at the first and ever Namadu Festival. Entrance is 10,000 and students 5,000 shillings only, and a table of 5 goes for only 200,000. Bagwere, our culture, our pride. Proudly sponsored by UBC TV, inspiring Uganda.
Steve King on the beat.
Kate eri wano mu UBC Gardens omuntu mutwala omukulu bambi jangu leta omwana bw'ojja kuyingirira bwerere togisuwa bambi maama ngenda okuzina nze maama ngenda okukyakala nze maama ngenda okuzina n'abaana ku stage jangu olaba amazina g'otulabangako gagenda kubeera wano buli mwana anayimba jangu n'omutwalo gwo ogw'okuyingira maama wetujja okubeera nga tudigida nga tusanyuka enda kukola luyiro wano wonna wanene UBC Gardens bannange mwena ne wemujja emitwalo emeka bambi bujjawo wano wonna mulengerawo wano wonna mulabawo wano wonna mulengerawo wano wonna Gardens za UBC end of the year wegenda okubeera party.
I know you're high and you wanna get down tonight. You sipping Henny in the club and it feels so right.
Wekulakulanye oyina mu talenti ey'okuzina eno yeyokka group ekyasiiza okuzina amazina mu Uganda nga bali wamu ne Hazardous Films Promotions Buganda ne Star TV. Ubuntu oyinza otya okuba omusanyufu nga bala tebali bannayuganda bali mpaalo of Africa okera buli muzadde ayagala omwana we agende maaso era ng'okulakulana kw'omwana lyessanyu ly'omuzadde. Ndi muzadde nawe oli muzadde ate omulala ojja kuba omuzadde. Jangu onyumirwa amazina okuva mu region zonna mu Uganda. Lekera okuleetera abavubuka balina talenti okuzina obwavu mujja benyumirizaamu nga balina kye balinawo mu dance competitions. Gamba mukwano gagambe mukwano gwe tutunulidde bavubuka. Ubuntu.
Let's make love tonight. Wake up. Got to do it right. I feel you. Go tonight.
Abange! Omwana sogwatunda ayolesa Christmas 2019 guguno gugguse ku kisawe kya Nakivubo Bulu Primary School. Jangu wekwata ekifo kyo amangu ddala mwana otundira ebyamaguzi ebyo ate ono omugatteko gw'ekibuga Kampala ng'ennaku z'omwezi 19 Desemba okutuusa nga 23 Desemba guwagiddwa UBC TV, Pepsi Cola n'abanguka mu byefuna ku Star TV emunyenye y'eggwanga.
Hello, Uganda! We introduce to you the first and ever My Right to Play Christmas Kids Festival 2019. Let the kids feel the Christmas Eve on the 21st of December at the Legend Sports Ground in Lugogo. Entrance is 10,000 shillings only and parents free. Bring your child and have an opportunity to play, sing, dance and discover their talents. Mujje tuyingira amazaalibwa nga abato basanyusa bato bannaabwe. Muleete abaana bammwe banyumirwe, banywe, bazanye. Kino kigenda kubeera kijjobe. Proudly sponsored by Legend Sports Ground, UBC TV, Star TV, U24 TV, Star FM, Magic 100 FM, UBC Butebo, Marketing, UMC Victoria Hospital and Ideas Workshop. Bw'oba oyagala omwana okuyimba kuba ku ssimu eno.
Thank you so much for watching and welcome back from the break. You are still watching Pick a Point, UBC TV, and tonight I have launched officially my concentration on HIV and AIDS as we move towards that day, 1st December, when we all go to pay some attention to this disease and share information officially, although we do it all the time. Now, I have a guest, Agnes Namaganda, and we have been discussing things like you had in our first segment, and still here we return. Our concentration tonight is so much on you, the young people. You are so many in Uganda and you're happy about it. But the prevalence of HIV and AIDS, some figures say it is so high amongst you. What is your role at this level we have come to, what is your role in ensuring that you are safe? Agnes, that's where we are going. The young people watching you, right from senior 1 up to Makerere University, where you are, where you work, or whichever university, even those that do not go to school anywhere, they're working in arcades, working wherever, and those who can pay attention to serious programs like this one, what do you think are their roles? What do they have to do? What is their role to play to ensure they are safe?
I think youths listen to these roles every other day, from the politicians, from the religious leaders. So
their parents at home.
Their parents
You're
at
just
home.
reciting.
And their teachers. Yes.
This gives them an opportunity to know that whoever tells them the same, if you're going to say what they have heard anyway, does not tell a lie.
Yes. So youths should, first of all, they should know that to tell someone who has HIV and AIDS, it takes a test. You just don't look at someone and you're able to physically tell that this person has HIV and AIDS. So before they get involved in sexual activity, they should first go for a test, especially when they are going for unprotected sex. They should test. And that's what I always encourage. That is, go and test, and then you can tell. For example, if you want to go into unprotected sex, first test. Then, of course, there is the listening to your parents. Just listening to your parents, listening to the people who have gone before you. There is a reason why those people have lived longer.
Is that also a very important thing?
It is very important for you to listen, because there is a reason why this person is in your life to advise you. I wouldn't, if it is a parent, no parent would wish their child well. So the parents are talking to you because they want you to enjoy your life, they want you to be alive longer, they want you to live a healthy life. So that is also there. The youth need to listen. They need to know that if so and so 5 people are telling me the same message, then maybe it is extremely
It's not
important.
by mistake that somebody is at the age of 50,
Yes.
yet they have lived when the HIV is also around.
Yes, they've lived without HIV for all those years.
Even
There's a
when the
reason.
disease is around.
Yes, and then these people have also seen the times when HIV was having, when the prevalence rates were so high. And by the way, it's very easy for these rates to go high if the youth keep on with living unhealthy, having unhealthy sex. Yes, engaging in unhealthy sex, the rates can easily blow up. So it is extremely important for the youths to listen to the people who have gone before them. Then, of course, there is also keeping useful friends. The kind of friends you keep will influence how you're going to behave, because if your friends behave in a certain way, then you're most likely also going to behave in that same way.
You know what? The things you're saying sound simple.
They sound simple, and it's the things that the youth keep.
They sound very light.
Yes. But then they are extremely important. Just your company, the company that you keep, is extremely important in helping you to stay safe. Because if you keep company with people who are living promiscuous lives, they are sleeping around, and then they are not using protection, they don't care about their future, they are not thinking,
That's
you're
who
most
you will
likely,
be.
yes, you're most likely to adopt their behavior. You're most likely to be influenced by their behavior. So the kind of friends you keep will influence your sexual behavior as well. Whether you have safe sex or whether you have unsafe sex. Yes. Then also the youth could also do a lot of reading. Do some research, because you may think, my parents were, but most youths now have phones, they have access to internet. Do some research about HIV, its effects, how it can be prevented, and also you can also use you can also be that youth that is able to reach out to your friends, especially if you see that your friends are living lives that are they are engaging in promiscuous sex. You can reach out to them and you're able to influence them positively, especially if you have this information, you've researched it. It's not parents wanting to cage you in, parents wanting you to miss out on life. Find out about HIV/AIDS, and then you will know that actually it's not just parents wanting to impose themselves on you.
Okay, so go test, hang out with the right people,
Yes.
listen. I
Yes.
love the way we're emphasizing it.
Yes.
Listen, then read, do some reading
Do some reading.
about HIV and AIDS
Yes.
and how you can keep your life. Now, it reminds me of something. There are people that have groups of young people in their communities. Every church we go to has a youth wing. They sing a lot, they do what? They use this youth to mobilize church activities, mosque activities, political parties here. Each one of them has a youth wing. Do they really talk about these things, or they only use these groups for the benefit of the communities?
The benefit of the communities or the benefit of themselves?
Of the communities, because you will find that a political party actually will so much use these young people to go and mobilize numbers for election targets. The church will use these people to go and preach. The mosque will use these people to go and mobilize people to preach and things like that. Do they get, how can we use these communities, actually let me phrase it that way, to have the young people hear some information about this HIV and AIDS problem?
We could, and I think many of them are doing their role. They are playing their role.
Really?
Yes, many religious leaders, they do. But have you gone to a function where the people who are in charge do not talk about HIV, especially when they are addressing young people? It's rare. They really play their role. The teachers do play their role. The parents do play their role. Religious leaders do their best. Political leaders actually also do their best. So even the media, I believe, because once you publish our research findings...
Like I said, you would be playing music now. There's so many people that would love to dance.
Yes.
Yes, there's so many exciting topics that we'll be discussing tonight. Yes.
Yes, you do play your role, and you're doing your best. So I'm thinking that...
the ball is in the court of the young woman or man watching.
Yes, that is exactly what you're saying.
Okay. You have friends that you talked about, but I have a lot of issues with them when it comes to serious things like this.
Which friends?
These people who stand, they have a year that is coming, 2021. Those guys who come and look for a vote and get it and go wherever. You are one of them. I don't think they so much care about things like this.
They do care, because if they didn't care, why would I be here, for example, talking about it?
You
It's
have
because
other
we care.
roles that make you, that demand you to do this.
Oh, you're saying that it's because I'm looking for the vote.
Maybe that one also.
It's the reason why I'm talking to many youths about this.
No, the
so
vote, you have other roles, you have other tasks that can't make you run away from this. But again, have our political leaders really helped?
I think they have, because remember, the political leaders are the ones that pass the budget. I know that maybe you will say the Ministry of Health budget has etc., but I believe they are doing their best. Really, when it came to HIV, everyone was affected. Everyone was affected. They've done their best. The government has done its best. That's what I think in the fight against HIV.
Government has a number of structures. You'll find ministries that have roles to play. Those technical staff that are there, especially. You'll find structures that have technical people who must do some work. They have no alternative. But you people that look for votes,
we are fluid.
Sometimes we don't trust you 100%.
No, you need to trust. Okay, I cannot talk on behalf
Because yes,
I cannot talk on behalf
you will
of all
pass
the
the
rest.
budget in Parliament. Because you cannot run out when it is happening. And actually this is a cardinal role you have, and we are watching you on TV, by the way, as it is being passed. But down in the villages, how do they really take off time to sit down young people in a hall to discuss things like this?
Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm not going to talk on behalf of the rest, especially those ones that have because I might be taking the blame on their behalf generally, but I'll only talk about myself, because I'm on this program today because I care about the youth. I care about the youth, and I'm disseminating this message. It is what I do when I go out to communities. I talk to them about HIV. I tell them how they can keep safe. I tell them about what happens when you don't keep safe. I tell them about teenage pregnancies. I write newspaper articles about teenage pregnancies and what can be done to contain them. So it's not that I will not talk on behalf of the rest political leaders and what they've done and what they've not done. I'll just talk about myself. Maybe that's the only person that I can be confident about.
Let us take it there in the perspective of ought to. What do you think a good political leader we have voted you, for example, Agnes, a woman MP, Makerere district, for example, you are in parliament.
Yes.
What do you think are those things you would do, would be right for you to do in the fight against HIV/AIDS amongst the youth around your constituency? What do you think would be the right thing for the MP? Not only an MP, actually, let me not squeeze them alone. MP, councillor, LC5, whoever. What do you think are those other things that we would expect of them in as far as this fight is concerned?
First of all, I think they would do what they are doing right now.
Leave alone the passing of the budgets and those official things.
And the things they are doing, talking
Yes,
to the
because
youth.
they can get every podium to ask for the vote.
Yes.
Can't they devise means of gathering people, this time not for votes, but to talk about these things like that?
They do. The political leaders actually do. They do some of these things, because in asking for votes, you don't just go and start by asking votes. You do an activity and then you base upon
You
it.
sugarcoat the asking for the
No,
vote.
you don't sugarcoat it. You actually care about the people. So what I believe is that sometimes we need to now get to the facts. Is that political leaders actually, much as they are influencers, sometimes they may not have the budget for such gatherings. Of course, you will say that when they want votes, they will call the people and ask for them. They will gather
You
them.
have said it because that is the truth, actually. You didn't even wait for me to say it, because you also know it.
I do know it, but at the end of the day, we have organizations like NGOs that have budgets. We have Ministry of Health that has a budget to sensitize the masses about HIV.
Yes,
HIV
so my
awareness.
expectation would be that Honorable Agnes Namaganda can contact 3 NGOs to come around her constituency and sensitize people.
They do that. MPs do that. I don't know, but what I see is that even when these NGOs actually organize, for example, an HIV awareness campaign, they invite these politicians. Or you would want that it is the politicians to invite the NGOs. I don't know, but these NGOs that are involved in the HIV fight, they usually ride on the popularity and the influence of the politicians in order to carry out their HIV awareness campaigns. So in my thinking, the political leaders have really done their part. And we need now to concentrate on the youth. It is the youth and it is from them that we are going to get the solutions right now to the HIV fight.
Okay.
Yes.
And your emphasis is on peer leaders.
It's on peer leaders, yes.
Okay. Now, you are a leader yourself.
Yes.
Where?
I'm aspiring to stand in Kampala as the woman MP.
Really?
Yes.
What does that take?
As long as you're 18 years and above and you're interested, that is all you need to do.
So what do you see in Kampala and makes you think you're that good to take over that kind of an office?
Political leadership mostly comes from what you think you can do, especially now for the people of Kampala. For example, if I'm going to be the woman MP, my interest group is the women, because I believe I have the ideas that can develop the women in Kampala.
How?
I would say that most of my ideas have been unexplored. For example, when we are talking about women emancipation most of the times, or women development, we focus on the women, which is right. But my thinking is different, and it's something that I would want to bring into public discussions. It is focusing on the men to develop the women. I've actually written several articles about that if you want to develop the women, you need to have the men understanding the women. Because if the women have the support system of the men, it will be very easy for the women. Because if they have the encouragement, if they have understanding brothers, uncles, fathers, people who understand their needs, it will be very easy for them to reach where they are going. I'll give you an
You're
example.
contradicting yourself, Agnes. You're talking about an independent woman,
Yes.
and again, to develop her, again, you think it is through other people.
I'm not talking. Women emancipation doesn't mean an independent woman. I think that has been misunderstood there.
Really?
No. It just means getting that woman to be able to do what she was created to do, to be able to explore all her abilities. For example, right now we have a challenge as a country, a challenge of teenage pregnancies. They are rampant. But who now you'll find that most of the programs that we have focus on the woman, on the girl child, empowering her, telling her how to stay safe, how to keep herself from getting pregnant. But remember, she's not getting pregnant in isolation. It's the boys that make her pregnant. So when you're designing interventions that are going to cut back on teenage pregnancies, focus on the boys. In fact, put much more focus on the boys than on the girls. Because once the boys know that this is what a girl goes through when she gets pregnant, these are the complications she will have. But you'll find that the boys don't know, and then they go entice the girls, and the girls can't say no. Of course, they've had some information, but even in the Bible, the man is superior to the woman. So they'll find a way of getting them in there. You know, they will play on their psychology, get them in bed, and the girls are pregnant. But if the men understood that these are the challenges a girl faces when she gets pregnant, they will think twice.
Really?
Yes. They'll be on the side. But we don't have as many interventions that are focusing on men. For example, even right now we have many mothers. We have those challenges. Mothers who bring up children alone, but you'll find that we tell the woman how she can survive. We give her options on how she can business.
So where are you going to take? Okay, where are you going to take that? I had not gotten that from you actually. Where are you going to take that? Is it at the floor? Because what is the role of an MP?
Yes.
The expectation is that is you to sweat at the floor of Parliament to ensure there are policies that now trickle down to the woman in your constituency. So where are you going to take this kind of discussions and good ideas that you have?
For example, at my level, I've tried to do interventions in that sense, like trying to reach out to the women, trying to engage men, trying to design programs that are actually, but when you're a political leader, at my level, there's just so much that you can do, there's just so much influence that you can have. But when you're a political leader, it's easy for you, because you're even in Parliament, it's easy for you to bring up these debates at national level.
Okay.
That is one. It's also easier for you, you're an influencer. It's also easier to get the attention of the international community, people who are bringing in money to address teenage pregnancies. We have so many organizations. We have a lot of money coming in the country to address the challenge of teenage pregnancies that Uganda is having as a country. Okay. But when you are at a level of a policy maker, when you are a level of an influencer, when you're a politician, it's easier for you to get the ear of the funders. It's easier for you to get the ear of government on something, on things like this.
So some of our leaders have not done that.
They've not
done that, like getting connections to take them back home for the help of their people.
Yes, I think it depends also on a leader and how whether they feel, because of course I don't want to come here and then I talk against other leaders. It depends on the amount of passion that a leader has for their people. Okay. Because I believe I'm passionate, not just about women in Kampala, because if a policy is made at national level, it is going to affect all women in the country, and even other countries can benchmark on that policy that has been made to adopt solutions for their own countries. Okay.
Thank God I invited you here to talk about HIV/AIDS, and finally I discover you may be in Parliament in 2021. There is the man who was crucified near Jesus. He told him, please don't forget me when you reach your kingdom. Honorable to be Agnes, please remember me when you reach Parliament. Thank you so much for coming around to discuss HIV/AIDS. This is our first program to handle this topic, and wish you all the best in your endeavors. Her name is Agnes Namaganda. She works with the School of Public Health at Makerere University. She said, whatever we say here, people have heard. Probably all we can do is to make you think and understand that where you heard it, it was not a lie. So the ball is in your court. That is the truth. But of course we shall do another program and another one and another one about HIV and AIDS for the good of all of us. Michael Jordan Lukomo is my name. Let us give you a chance to watch news and know what has happened all over the country. Good night. Thank you so much, Agnes, for coming.
Thank you so much.
Welcome.
Inspirational moment with Pastor Jackson Senyonga of Christian Life Church, Kampala.
Excessive responsibility.
Abazadde abateeka obuvunanyizibwa obungi ku baana.
When you are too young,
bw'obanga oli muto nnyo,
when you are young,
ng'oli muto,
you are given too much responsibility
baakuwa obuvunanyizibwa bungi
to
nnyo,
take care of a whole lot of things,
obeere ng'okola ku bingi,
to take care of your siblings,
nga gwakola ku baganda bo,
to cook for the entire family,
gwafumbira amaka manene,
to fetch water, fetch firewood,
gwakima amazzi n'otyaba
and
enku,
take care of big people
n'ofa ku bakulu
at a very early age.
ng'okyali muto nnyo.
So you are given too much responsibility.
Baakuwa obuvunanyizibwa bungi
These
nnyo.
things have a way of coming back to haunt us when you grow up.
Bino ebintu birina engeri gye bikomawo ne bitutuntuza nga tukuze.
Some overcome them,
abamu babiwangula,
others are unable to overcome them.
abalala tebasobola.
Inspirational moment with Pastor Jackson Senyonga of Christian Life Church, Kampala.
This weekend on UBC.
Vivian, my name is Carol. Hammam Spa. I'm going to do your facial. It will leave you glowing, looking nice, and refreshed. You're going to start with cleansing your skin.
There are those people who just want to relax and be pampered. A facial is essentially a multi-step skin treatment that is one of the best ways to take care of your skin. A facial cleanses, exfoliates, and nourishes the skin.
Brought to you by
Hammam Spa and Salon is located at Fairway Hotel. For bookings, contact us on 0414-671-775 or 0701-323-212. Hammam Spa and Salon, drift to serenity.
Everybody needs a partner like that, because for him to come in and says, Mamela, you are wearing that night this morning. Up to now,